to the Tuesday edition of the NBA Slate Starter Podcast. I'm Eric, joined with my buddy Ryan as we break down the 11-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. Ryan, what's so funny over there?
I mean, shout out to those 1,500 people. We're going to witness you shave your eyebrows live on stream tomorrow.
Okay, so I don't know how this whispering around became. This is like that telephone game that you play in elementary school where one person says one thing and it's completely changed by the end. I'm going to do the identical, so I screwed up the slit of my eyebrow. I don't know which side. There we go. It's right there, and I'm going to match it to have it be right down the middle as well. So it's not going to be great. I can promise you that, but that was the promise that I made, and I'm going to deliver on the tip-off tomorrow. So tune in if you like to watch me do stupid stuff. Anything else you'd like to have? I believe you had a pretty good nickname before the show for it.
I did. If you want to tease us with that razor, we can drop that nickname. So as of right now, Eric technically has 3 eyebrows, the way he slit one of them. He's going to have 4. So he's going to go from tri-brow to quad-brow. Unfortunately, he's not going to be Zilbrow with 0 eyebrows. He'll actually have 4 at the end of the tip-off.
Oh, man. Yeah, well, this is a new low for me in life.
Eric's fiance is going to send him to the West Hollywood eyebrow threader so soon to get those eyebrows fixed up.
Her birthday is next weekend too. I just want to throw that out there. If you want to know how deep of crap I'm in, she literally set up her YouTube account to go into chat and let it be known how mad she was at me today. Those are good times. So tomorrow's going to be an interesting day for Eric Lindquist. So tune in tomorrow, see if I survive. But if you want to leave me a parting gift for this life, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so at least Awesemo can prosper in my loss. Head to monkeyknifefight.com as well. Use promo code Awesemo, AWESEMO. I can't even spell right now. I'm so flustered with myself. Definitely check out all their prop-based games. They've got so many goodies at NBA, MLB, NHL, MMA, PGA, all of the goodies, prop-based games multipliers. So based on how much money you want to try to go out and win, use some of the Awesemo Plus Platinum tools that you get to head over to monkeyknifefight.com. Stop guessing, start winning, but definitely take advantage of that promo code for $100 free first deposit bonus. Ryan, you ready to get going, my dude?
Let's ride.
Well, no Russell Westbrook on this slate. I mean, is that a good thing? Domantas Sabonis not on this slate, who's apparently also Russell Westbrook now. Is that a good thing too?
Yes, and yes, and yes, and yes. And also, just because, come on. If Westbrook was on the slate tomorrow, I think DraftKings would have priced him at $8K, the way they've been doing pricing. So, God, thank the Lord that there's no Russ Westbrook tomorrow. Huge 11-game slate, though. Hopefully, we can mix and match with some studs, and there are no true, real free squares.
Props to him passing Robertson, though. My God. I was really hoping he was going to knock down that shot. I was really, really hoping he was going to hit that. He had a buzzer beater up against the Hawks. It was like 126, 125, and sprints down the other way. Scott Brooks doesn't call timeout. What a great coach he is. Not really. Here we go. Luka Doncic, 10,800 on the top end over on DraftKings. Going up against Memphis, high-paced matchup. Probably a good spot for him. I'm still mad at him, but I'm going to roster him in bunches still. Getting ejected when I had just all of it in the world. LeBron James, it says out next to him, but I believe, I guess he is going to be out. But they said, I saw a report earlier today that he was possibly going to play. I'm not sure if that changed or not, or if they haven't updated on DraftKings. Let me know if you know anything different when I go to you here. James Harden continuing to be out. Steph Curry on the second end of a back-to-back, going up against Phoenix. That's a pretty tough 2 games. Utah today and Phoenix tomorrow. But it's Steph, and he can knock down everything. And then Kyrie Irving, Brooklyn, going up against Chicago, 9,600. Kind of in a situation where they want to keep winning, too. Talk to me about the top end of point guard.
Yeah, so top end of point guard. It's going to be interesting. We're going to get the second return of LeBron James of this month. I think he's going to play, but there was some speculation. Like you said, he was a full participant. Adrian Wojnarowski said he was likely to return on Tuesday, but then we got the news report that he was out. So it's a sticky situation with injuries. I think there's a chance he's going to play against this Knicks team. So We'll talk about LeBron at the small forward spot on FanDuel for sure. But leading off 10-8, Luka. I thought Luka was going to get suspended for being tossed out. So
he has one more tech. He has one more tech.
Okay, the silver lining. Okay, yeah. So he did not pick up a 16 technical, so he's still staying away from that 1-game suspension. Okay, gotcha. So he's going to be in play versus Memphis. Memphis needs to win. Dallas needs to win. It's going to be an exciting game in terms of seeding implications and fantasy purposes. LeBron James 10-6. If you were to play, I think he's going to be on some sort of minutes limit, so it's going to be tough to go to him. Steph Curry at 10K versus a Phoenix team that I think is content with the 2 seed, the way they played against the Lakers team. So, but Golden State has continued to rally off some dubs. So I like Steph Curry. Obviously, he has a huge incentive for him going to be the leading NBA scorer this year. He's got a slight lead over Bradley Beal, but he's got to maintain that average towards the end of the season. So we'll see. I believe Giannis is on a back-to-back versus Orlando. What should Mike Budenholzer do with the Bucks tomorrow? Should we get the G League Bucks, or should we get an all systems go Bucks? The Bucks lost tonight against the Spurs team, so keep that in mind. We'll see what we can do with Jrue Holiday. It's gonna be an exciting play if there's no Giannis. Delon Wright, $8,100. He has been a machine when given upwards of high 30s minutes. Last time they blew out this Oklahoma City team that they're going to play again. He's an all right play. I think now he's finally priced appropriately where you can shy away if you want to. Hopping over on the FanDuel side of things, up top, Luka 10-3, Steph 10-3, Kyrie Irving 10-2. All obviously strong pay up options. Really like Kyrie Irving's matchup versus Chicago. Luka Doncic obviously 10-3. It's kind of cheap for his upside. We know what he can do against Memphis. No issues whatsoever. Going down the list, obviously Jrue and Delon Wright, priced at the same price tag. I do think it's going to be news. News can change that situation on who to prefer. And Chris Paul, 8,100. That's a little too expensive. This Phoenix team is just, I think, not playing for that much anymore. So other guys, John Morant, I think, deserves a strong consideration. $7,300. And I want to hear how you feel about a $6,700 Ben Simmons versus this woeful Indiana defense.
I just don't feel good about it. 7,300. So if anybody was following on Friday, as if I haven't done enough dumb stuff in the last, 72 hours or what it would be. Yeah, it's close to 72. It's close enough. On Friday, I ended up locking Ben Simmons on accident on DraftKings. He almost put up a triple-double, which would have been like one of the more backdoor things ever. 8 points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists. That was kind of an outlier. He hasn't had north of 7 assists. No, he had 9 against Brooklyn, but hadn't had double-digit assists for 10 games here. And so yeah, that would have been a huge outlier. But against Indiana, playing at the second fastest pace in the NBA over the last month, is that correct? I mean, they've been in so many high-paced games, and part of that is I think they've been playing Washington quite a bit, because we've had 2 games I know where Sabonis and Russ both went completely nuclear, and so I think that probably helps some of the pace numbers, but that's going to be a super high total game, and yeah, why not fire it up? I could totally see going that direction with Ben Simmons, I suppose. I'm kind of talking myself into it because I want to see it happen. I'd like to see, I think over on FanDuel, it's hard to, I feel like I've been overweight to him so many slates in a row, and he just does nothing. And it's not like you have to do that much to go over the slate because everybody knows how bad he's been. It's an 11 gamer. You can just kind of like play your dudes. So the way I look at it is like he's not on the top end or the bottom end of the positions. So you're probably getting different targeting to a guy like Ben Simmons, and 6,700 on FanDuel. He could absolutely go nuts on that. And then you had talked about John Morant here. 7,300, put up 34 minutes, 34.6 fantasy points today. That's fine, but that's not what you're looking for on this slate against Dallas, which is kind of it's a pace down for Memphis. I don't know necessarily how I feel about that. I don't know if I'm going to really be able to go there. What are you going to kind of do with him?
Yeah, I like John Morant quite a bit. These games for Memphis are playoff games in my opinion, but I think I'm just going to hop on down in this, like the lower tier guys. John Morant 8K. I think I don't mind going to Ben Simmons 7,300 tomorrow. D'Angelo Russell, obviously in his groove. They started him alongside Rubio. Russell showed why he's still a solid offensive NBA player. $7,900 versus a Detroit matchup. No issues going there. Devastating news for the Boston Celtics. Jaylen Brown out for the year with a ligament tear in his wrist that he was playing through for about a couple weeks. And then obviously they had to rule him out because he's going to need surgery. Marcus Smart's going to get some trickle down usage, 6,200 against this Miami matchup. It's okay. Other guys, Ricky Rubio and Killian Hayes. Killian Hayes showed why he was a top 10 pick, had his career night the other day. I like going to Killian Hayes at 5,400. I think he's going to get quite a few minutes if he's playing. Other guys in Detroit, Saban Lee.
Yep.
Keep in mind, Frank Jackson did get injured, so those guys picked up extra minutes because of that situation. And I think other point guard options on DraftKings are Malachi Flynn at 5,300, and DeAnthony Melton just always has that tournament upside in terms of value. Over there on FanDuel, guys at point guard, Derrick Rose was fantastic the other night at the Staples Center. He's going to be there again tomorrow against the Lakers team. I'm going to be shying away after that. 6K seems kind of appropriately / too high in my opinion. Malachi Flynn, 5K. Keep an eye on that Toronto's new situation. It might open things up for him again. Other guys in the point guard spot over there on FanDuel, I believe they played Jalen Harris of Toronto. 29 minutes last time. He's a rookie for them, and he might be a solid fantasy player based on his performance. In 29 minutes, put up 31.2 FanDuel points. I don't mind it at that price tag. If you want to spend $1,000 more for Killian Hayes, I think it's a solid option as well. It's a loaded 11-game slate. There are a lot of implications that are in play where you can mix and match your value. So I'm not too concerned about ownership with no Russ Westbrook on the slate. So I think we touched on a lot of good options on this huge slate.
Jalen Harris over at shooting guard over on DraftKings. And then the one guy I was going to bring up, Saban Lee, and you took him from me, so that was good. 32 minutes for him. That was a big jump, and part of that being the Frank Jackson injury you referred to. Let's jump on over to shooting guard. Top end over there. We've got on the top end, got to click over. Karis LeVert on a back-to-back, 9,200. You better have Malcolm Brogdon out again. They ended up winning 111-102 tonight. Karis LeVert was decent again, put up 43.6. I thought he was going to put up a lot more. It ended up being all Sabonis. We'll talk about him later. But yeah, Indiana wants to keep winning, and if Brogdon comes back, don't play Karis. If Brogdon doesn't come back, go ahead and take some shots. Zach LaVine, 8,600 up against Brooklyn. He's actually been playing more minutes. Went up to right away to 35, so 27, 32, 35 in his 3 games back. I think very firmly in play for a Chicago Bulls team that needs to keep winning, and against Brooklyn, why not? Paul George, 8,200 going up against Toronto. That price is starting to come down because you get Kawhi out there for meaningful minutes, and you would totally expect for that production to start dropping. And lastly, Devin Booker, 7,700 in a great Golden State matchup. If you were going to pop off for 35 plus real points, I think this would be the night. Talk to me about the top end of shooting guard.
Yeah, top end of shooting guard over there on FanDuel. That Paul George price is like $8,200. He's definitely in play. Pivoting around him, guys like Booker and Russell, $7,600 and $7,700 for those guys. You mentioned with Levine in the Brooklyn matchup, he showed that upside finally with the game with the Vooch. But up top, Karis LeVert, $9,200 in a matchup versus Philly. So we know what's online for the Pacers. He's going to play as many minutes as he can. So pretty remarkable. His set pretty much this season, how he turned it around from Brooklyn. Obviously, the medical scare that he had, and he overcame. Pretty remarkable season as is. But Terry Rozier, $7,300. He's been balling, man. There's nothing else besides that. If you want to pivot off of Rozier, Buddy Hield, shooting guard guy. I know he's been pretty good with no De'Aaron Fox in limited minutes against OKC last time. Went off for 38.5. For some reason, if this game stays close, he has 40-point upside. Andrew Wiggins in a matchup versus Phoenix, I'll be shying away from that. But other value guys, we saw Dylan Brooks pop off today. Gary Trent Jr. is going to continue to play some minutes, barring this injury situation. Terrence Davis, TD3, has been playing pretty solid for the Sacramento team. So if you just look at his box score, he's pretty much achieved value and then some over and over again. But the mint, D'Anthony Melton stands out to me, continues to be a solid value option that I've been going to. And as long as there is no Porzingis, Tim Hardaway Jr. has been pretty solid in games that have stayed close. He's getting 30 plus minutes, and he's finally turned his shooting around of late over the past week. So Hardaway Jr. solid option over there in FanDuel. And I think I'll be shying away from Yuta Watanabe. I think he played 25 minutes last time and got just under 20 fantasy points. You need him to get like 30 plus on a slate of this size tomorrow. I'll be hopping over to the DraftKings side of things. Over there on shooting guard, you talked about Levine, $9,500. I like saving the money and going to Paul George and Karis LeVert. Middleton is a strong play if there's no Giannis. Middleton could sit on this back-to-back situation. Other guys who are solid options. Anthony Edwards. I know $8,400 is a lot, but this guy is just filling up the stat sheet all of a sudden outside of scoring as well. And he got 7 rebounds and 7 assists last time out. So, a couple games ago. So he's showing that he can distribute and kind of showing why he was the number 1 overall pick. We'll see if he's kind of closing in on the gap with LaMelo Ball. I doubt it. I think LaMelo Ball is still the runaway rookie of the year, but Edwards has put a strong rookie campaign. I know he's not contributed efficiently, but man, he's been impressive just like in terms of stats alone. But he healed $8,200. I think I prefer saving the $100 to Delon Wright. Rozier also a great pivot. We talked about Russell. Other guys in terms of spending down on the shooting guard spot on DraftKings, I like Jalen Harris, $3,100. Those minutes I think are for real. Evan Fournier with no Jaylen Brown, $5,400, where you get that 3-point bonus is pretty darn solid.
Last guy to throw in, and it feels really gross, but you can't really beat it in terms of minutes. If you get Emmanuel Quickly and Alec Burks out, Reggie Bullock is $5K on FanDuel. Played 45 minutes against the Clippers, 41.3 fantasy points. That is a truckload of minutes to be inheriting for a guy. 45, it'd be hard-pressed for me not to want to pull the trigger a little bit. Over on DraftKings, he's $4,900. I think that's viable. Again, you want to be a little bit more picky than that because this is such a massive slate. Korkmaz is out. Maybe you could get some minutes from a guy like Tyrese Maxey who just got done putting up 35 minutes and 40.75 DraftKings points up against Detroit there. Maybe taking some shots on him at 4K. But otherwise, not a whole lot that I'm going nuts for. What do you think about those two, throwing them into the mix?
Yeah, there could be some injury situation that we can take advantage of. They're fine. I do think I think at that price, like Reggie Bullock needs to play 45 minutes again. It could definitely happen in a matchup versus the Lakers with Anthony Davis and potential LeBron back. The defense should get better. So I'm okay with it. Nothing that I'm too excited about.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. Fair enough. I'm not going to push back. Again, this is an 11 gamer. There's going to be so much news that we don't know about yet. That's going to be hard for us to quantify. But just in terms of finding a guy who's going to be 1% owned, Reggie Bullock, how you doing, buddy? Small forward, Luka Doncic. Can't even say his name anymore. Luka Doncic, 10,800 at the small forward position on DraftKings. But really, Kevin Durant is where the position starts there, 9,900. The guy who's small forward and power forward eligible. Jimmy Butler, 9,200 up against Boston. As you said, no Jaylen Brown there on the other side. So sad. Michael Porter Jr., 8,500, your boy, who is starting to kind of level out here a little bit. 45.5 and 42. You're kind of looking for a little bit more. He put up 59 9 games ago against Houston. Charlotte, fast-paced game. Maybe this is the one where he can spike a 60-point upside. And then Chris Middleton. As you said, we don't know what this Bucks team is going to look like tomorrow. It could be interesting against Orlando because you got to expect that they're going to be big favorites. And coming off of this loss today, maybe Budenholzer just says, screw it, you're playing. Talk to me about the top end of small forward.
Yeah, top end of small forward. Looking over there on DraftKings, 10-8 Luka. There's a 9-9 Kevin Durant. I like saving those $900 to Durant. Brooklyn now, I think with the loss to the Bucks, if they get another win, I think they're obviously going to be much closer to securing up that 2 seed. But Kevin Durant 9-9. Obviously, KD has just been rock solid when healthy this year, coming off on monster 40 plus minutes, 65 and 3/4 fantasy points. KD was just doing KD things. Obviously, Very solid option. Jimmy Butler, $9,200. Kind of in a weird pricing range on this 11-game slate. Obviously, he has huge upside, just Jimmy buckets, but he's $700 cheaper than KD and then $900 more expensive than Kawhi. So I think would rather pivot to one of those two guys, to be honest. Michael Porter Jr., $8,500. I know he's been balling, man. He's been option 1B in the offensive for Denver. So Porter Jr., he's going to be low on tournament option 11-game slate. We've seen this upside happen, so don't mind it. Tobias Harris, $7,200. If there is no Joel Embiid against this Indiana team, I like going to Tobias Harris quite a bit. Going to be one of the more popular value options if that were to happen. I have a lot of interest in Tobias Harris if there's no Embiid. Aaron Gordon did not play last game. He's been god-awful, so I don't know what I can do with Aaron Gordon at that price range. Small forward is pretty tough to spend down in over there on DraftKings. Guys like Stanley Johnson, 3,300. If he's going to get minutes, it's ugly. Jay Crowder, Danny Green, Karen Davis the third, 5,300. It is an ugly, ugly spend down a small forward slate over there on DraftKings, man. It is ugly. There's no one that I really have a ton of interest over spending down. Hopping over on the top end of small forward on FanDuel, KD 10-6, obviously $1,000 more expensive than Jimmy Butler, $2,200 more than Kawhi. Man, saving down to Kawhi is kind of nice. I have no issues doing that. Porter Jr., $7,100 is too cheap for MPJ. I like that quite a bit. Saving down to him. Pivoting off of guys like Anthony Edwards, $8,900 is way too expensive for Anthony Edwards on FanDuel with the options that we've already mentioned. Chris Middleton, $8,300. Fournier, $6,200 is not out of play just because of no Jalen Brown. I continue. So you're going to get a lot of minutes, and he's going to be relied on quite a bit with no Jalen Brown heading into the play-in game and potentially the playoffs for this team. If you want to spend down over there on FanDuel, guys like Lou Dort, if he's going to play, $4,900. Mo Harkless, maybe at $4,700. Dorian Finney-Smith, KCP, and Joe Harris is $3,900. Wow. So if he can get hot from the outside, that's a solid option to consider. Other guys in the mid-range, you can go to guys like Jay Rich. We'll see what happens in the Oklahoma City situation. It's been tough to pinpoint what they're going to do. Guys like Gabe Deck, Kenrich Williams could open up for you. So small forward is not fun, man. There's some solid studs who were kind of discounted on each respective sites, but man, it gets ugly real fast. It's going to be tough to go to some of these spend down small forward guys the way based on the news that we have right now.
I think on DraftKings, shooting guard Evan Fournier, but on small forward on FanDuel, Evan Fournier is $6,200. I really like that tomorrow. I'm curious what his ownership will be coming off of this Jaylen Brown news and coming off of a game where he finally put it together. Put up 30 real points, 48.6 FanDuel points. What do you think about him? And then we'll close out the position. Oh, and Saddiq Bey against Minnesota. Got to play 38 minutes, 40 minutes, it seems like, in any close game. So why not him either?
Yeah. Going back on the Fournier situation, that they're going to rely on him quite a bit with no Jaylen Brown. He had shown some upside games, so I have no issues going to him on either site. The matchup versus Miami, obviously. I wouldn't fault you if you don't want to play Fournier. It's not a priority. We know he can be disappointing. If you want to change up your roster build, go for it. But there are other guys on FanDuel in that price range, guys like Kyle Anderson. And if you want to spend all the way down to guys like Lou Dort or Joe Harris, I don't fault you. But I think Fournier grading out to be a pretty solid option.
Ignas Brazdeikis, 3,600. Round 2, right?
Iggy Brazdeikis. I mean, he got quite a bit of minutes.
35.
So, yeah. Obviously, they got waxed by Minnesota. It shows how bad Orlando is as a basketball team. I don't know if his 10 days are up. I believe they're not up. So
okay.
They might be close to coming up. I'm not sure.
Okay, maybe I'd rather play Jalen Horde, who's at least a fantasy player, and Lou Dort's questionable. So maybe we get some Jalen Horde run. Can we let him get some extended run one time at 3,600?
We don't know. I don't know what Oklahoma City's going to do. So
I have no idea either. I tried to figure it out last time. There. Yeah.
So hard to go there in any sort of confidence. And they're all so young. The team's so young, so I have no idea what they're doing.
Because when you can play OKC guys on an 11-game slate, you just got to do it, right?
Yeah, you got to, right?
Yeah, it's just a lock. I'm an idiot. 11,200 on the top end of power forward. Giannis Antetokounmpo. We'll see what happens for him playing. Anthony Davis, 10-8. Wow. You want to talk about my namesake, the Brow? The Brow, my namesake, has just been going nuts the last two. It was nice to be on the right side of it last game. 78.9 on FanDuel. He was pretty decent. Domantas Sabonis also pretty decent, but now gets an actual matchup. Goes from playing Washington and Cleveland, who have nobody, to having Philly, who, it depends. As you said, Joel Embiid, he's sicky. He's not feeling good. It's a non-COVID illness, but that's never sounding good. I feel like he'll want to play, but who knows? Domantas Sabonis, 10-2, might be very popular, but who's going to be very popular even against Miami? Is Jason Tatum, 9,700. We've seen the kind of upside he had against San Antonio, putting up 60 real points, 80.1 FanDuel points. Been very, very up and down. 38 minutes against Chicago, 23.7. Rebounded nicely in this same Miami matchup, put up 50 real fantasy points there, 29 actual points. Curious what his ownership will be, but gotta like him. And then some Julius Randle shots, a revenge narrative. The guy's playing, very high-level basketball. The Lakers team that basically gave up on him. Why not go that direction too? Talk to me about the top end of power forward.
Yeah, a big asterisk with Giannis if he's going to play on this back-to-back. I'll be shocked if they're going to roll him out versus this Orlando team, but you never know. He could put up a huge fantasy performance in 2 quarters, as we saw the whole Minnesota team do in just 2.5 quarters of play. So keep that in mind. Jason Tatum with no Brown. I still like going to him sub 10K. Anthony Davis. He's been fun to roster for me, as that's the only thing I felt like I've gotten right the last 2 times he's been on the slate. So Anthony Davis against the Knicks matchup, 10-8 is they were quick to price him up. So don't have any issues going to AD. But if I won't fault you, if you want to go down to Sabonis, 10-2, he's been a machine. Now a matchup versus Philly. But if you look at his box scores, Domantas Sabonis has gone north of 60. 5 points the last 4 of 6 games. Pretty remarkable for what's happening with him. Other guys in the power forward spot, like you said, Randall against his Lakers team, his former team. Yeah, he was disappointed against the Clippers, but I think he could turn it around. It's going to be a tough matchup. 9K is cheap for Julius Randle. He could play 45 minutes, so that's a lot of minutes for anyone and a ton of minutes for Randle to produce. Tobias Harris, if there's no Embiid, love him. I actually like him even if there's Embiid against his Indiana matchup. $6,900 is a very, very nice price tag for Tobias Harris. Isaiah Stewart, 6,200 versus a Cat matchup. I'll be a little cautious because of the matchup versus Cat, but he's shown an upside when he's given minutes. Marvin Bagley got those minutes back up to 21. He didn't have to play much as they were pretty much taking care of business. No second, third quarter run for him or fourth quarter run for Marvin Bagley. So keep that in mind. We saw Blake Griffin turn back the clock against Denver. He's gone 27, 27, and 28 minutes his last 3 games. The minutes are going up for Blake. Blake's a pretty solid fantasy contributor, even on the fantasy producer. So I don't mind Blake at 5,500. It's going to be low owned. On an 11-game slate, maybe I'll take those comments back. You could probably find better, confident, more options, but he's not the craziest play the way he's been playing of late. And I don't mind that at all against the Chicago matchup. If there's no Aaron Gordon tomorrow, I think Aaron Gordon's going to return. So Jermichael Green was the man. So that's an option. Other spend on options over there on FanDuel. No one really standing out. Maybe Nicholas Claxton, the man, if you want to take some chances with him. Can't fault you there. Over there on power forward over there on DraftKings. Flipping over to the top, obviously Giannis, Tatum, KD, Anthony Davis. Who else is up top? Julius Randle, 9,400. I like that quite a bit. Michael Porter Jr. is too expensive. PJ Washington, if he starts, sure, but I'd rather go to Tobias Harris regardless. Other guys spending down. Marvin Bagley, 6,400 is a pure tournament option. Spending down in terms of value. Yuta Watanabe, 3,500. Meh. He's just not that fun to roster in terms
I would
of
much rather
purposes.
pay the $500 more for Could you be more heartless? Got to do that on the way out. Ooh, it's the last week. Had to throw him in. He was in foul trouble the entire game. He played 39 minutes against Indiana and San Antonio. He would have played 38 minutes, but he was in foul trouble that whole game, and he still put up 32.25 at 3,900. So he is the guy that I think you kind of want to be playing in that lower range. What do you think about him?
Yeah, I like him. He's been putting up much better fantasy producer in Sacramento. Obviously, with no Fox has been good. 4K from Mo Harkless. No issues, honestly, going there. So if Jaden McDaniels returns, I like him at that price tag versus Detroit. Keep in mind, he's been away for personal reasons, so he could open things up. And if for some reason Aaron Gordon decides to play again.
No. 4,800. I would rather play Jaden McDaniels straight up at 3,500.
I think McDaniels outscores Aaron Gordon?
I do. I already took a Kelly Olynyk versus Anthony Davis bet that I lost by 1.2 on Friday to Greg, which that's a whole nother story. We can't even go there. But, I mean, how good did Kelly Olynyk play? How fun would it have been to be able to make up a segment?
You got some nice hair on your head. You got some nice hair on your head.
Man. God, I don't even know what to say about that. He does have nice hair on his head. What about my hair on my head? What did I do? I missed something.
I'm just saying, you want to take another bet? You can shave some hair off.
Oh my God! Do you want to do Jaden McDaniels versus Aaron Gordon straight up? What do you want to do? Chest hair?
No, I think we'll let it be. I think you've already taken one too many L's over the past week.
Oh my God, just honestly, let's go to center and round this puppy out because everybody's ready to go home. It's not FanDuel Friday, but it's FanDuel Tuesday. So Nikola Jokic on the top end, $11,000 over there. Nikola Vucevic, 9,800. The aforementioned Joel Embiid, 9,700. We'll see if his rumbling is tumbly or whatever he has going on. Maybe the cold sweats. I don't know. He's got something. Glad it's not COVID, but 9,700 for him there. Karl Anthony Towns against Detroit. Good luck, Isaiah Stewart. Have fun. And then Mo Bamba, maybe the most disappointing human being on the face of the earth, coming off of last game, 8,100. I have never been this curious for what a guy's ownership was going to be after a bust. I am so curious at what Mo Bamba's ownership is going to be tomorrow. Talk to me about the top end of center.
Yeah, top end of center tomorrow. FanDuel is going to be tough on a one. When you can only roster one, what are you going to do on an 11-game slate? There's Jokic up top in a matchup versus Charlotte. 11K. Tough not to still go to that. I mean, he's been sensational all year long. If you don't want to go to him and go to a guy like Embiid, 9,700 and Cat, they seem discounted. I like going there. Vooch versus Brooklyn should destroy that front court matchup. But, man, center is a tough, a lot of decision points to be made. Valanciunas continues to be a monster. Is there a reason to spend anywhere lower than
Kem Birch? Kem Birch is your guy down there. If you're going to play somebody lower on FanDuel, I think Kem Birch could have a crazy minutes upside at 5,900. Andre Drummond's been so bad, but you got to think that he's going to play something. He's been too bad. I would rather play Kem Birch, who could probably play 35, 36 minutes, and he's kind of the guy on the offense here. Am I right about that? Who else is it going to be for the centerpiece for Toronto tomorrow?
Yeah, I think Freddie Gillespie might come in and get some minutes, but that's nothing too exciting. But yeah, Kem Birch.
Don't do that to me. Freddie Gillespie. I mean, you were being serious too, which is just the crazy part about this Toronto team tomorrow.
Yeah.
They have nothing to play for.
It's May, last week of NBA season in May, so go figure. But yeah, there obviously some new situations can open some minutes up, spending down, but honestly, yeah, Rashawn Holmes 6,200 and Kem Birch 5,900. That's as cheap as you want to go. Can you get any confidence in a Tristan Thompson or a
Dwight Howard? I would have confidence in if you get no Embiid.
If we get no Embiid, yes,
yeah,
that is Dwight Howard would open a lot of things up for us tomorrow. And going back to your Mo Bamba thing, I got to keep an eye on what Wendell Carter Jr. situation is going to be like. That will dictate a lot for his ownership and any interest in roster.
You're not going to play him, period, if Wendell Carter plays, but he's questionable. If he ends up playing, I don't think there's any reason to. But let's just say in the world that Wendell Carter Jr. is out again. What do you think Mo Bamba's ownership would be at about the same number he was the other day, like 10%?
Mo Bamba was not 10% last time.
No, right? I'm saying that he was like 28% on FanDuel, and he was like 55% on DraftKings. So I'm saying, what do you think his ownership will be on FanDuel tomorrow if there's no Wendell Carter? 10%, maybe?
Oh, maybe. Yeah. I think sub 10%. I think
that makes it sound really fun to roster Mo Bamba at a discount tomorrow.
Yeah, at a discount. Yeah, even then, I'm like, a little cautious.
Okay.
In a matchup versus Denver, I think they're gonna roll out a lot of Biyombo and maybe Zeller. So Zeller, we saw play 22 minutes. He's kind of been in and out of the rotation. He's the min over there on DraftKings, so I'm not sure what Borrego's gonna do, but I'm just talking about some value. But over there on DraftKings pricing, Jokic, Giannis, Embiid, Cat, Vooch, Anthony Davis. Wow, so many options between that 10 and 11K range, and Sabonis. Holy shit. But like, that is just studs galore. I mean, I love Cat at 10-2 versus a Detroit matchup. We saw what Vooch did to this team. I think Cat, if he somehow finds his way to mid-30s minutes, Cat could outscore all of those guys. You could say that about any of those guys who I just mentioned, but I really like Jokic, honestly. 11K seems still a little too cheap, where he's just controlling the offense. I think Anthony Davis with LeBron is out. We can still go there. If LeBron is in, I think that is too expensive for him. But if you want to spend down to guys like Bam, I won't disagree with you. He's fine. But Kem Birch, $6,200, still a solid option. But that's as low as I would really go. I think you nailed it. As Kem Birch is the line, the way things stand right now, and Dwight Howard becomes a super smash play if there is no Joel Embiid.
Yep, those are the things. That's all you need to know. Do not go underneath Kem Birch unless you get Dwight Howard. Maybe Tristan Thompson if Robert Williams is out. I might take a shot or two because it could happen. Because why not? Rinpack. Man, 11 games. Took a little while to get through. We got through it, though. Good times. Any final words for the people before Wednesday?
Yeah, it's the final week, guys. So of the first season of the Slate Starter, it's been such a fun ride. If you guys can leave us a review on the Apple Podcast page, that would be greatly appreciated. Drop us some comments below. Make fun of Eric's 2B quad eyebrows, 4 eyebrows coming away. It's going to be 4 eyes and 4 eyebrows. Wow. So he's setting new trends. West Hollywood is going to be excited to see Eric walking them streets come this weekend.
And with that, we are out. We will see you back here on Wednesday. Best of luck on Tuesday. Go get it, gamers.